Today we're doing Minecraft phylogeny. Phylogeny is the study of evolutionary relationships amongst various groups of organisms. Random mutations can cause organisms to acquire new traits which will then be passed on to all their descendants. And so different groups of organisms will have traits which no other organisms have. By identifying fundamental characteristics, we can form different categories. When comparing at least 3 different organisms, we'll always find that 2 of them are more similar to each other than they are to the other one. By doing this process with every single organism, we'll get a branching tree pattern. We can determine this not just by morphologic differences, morphology meaning their shape, but we can also do it by genetic comparisons. Genetic comparisons are very useful with, still alive animals or recently extinct ones where DNA still remains. But with ancient animals like non-avian dinosaurs, there is no genetic material to compare, so we'll just have to base it on the shape of the animal. But don't worry, because before we had genetics, we based everything on morphology, and then when we did have genetic comparisons, it usually confirmed our suspicions. But it is important to remember that that doesn't always hold true. We're going to be doing the classification of animals in Minecraft, and just animals, not fungi or plants. I'm not really interested in plants too much, but Linnaeus was. He was a botanist and the father of taxonomy. Linnaeus came up with 7 different ranks, which he imagined would be able to describe every single organism on Earth. The way they work is like that branching tree pattern. There's multiple species within a genera, there's multiple genera within a family, and there's multiple families within an order. For example, this orange marked area here is our taxonomical family, the great apes. They're composed of 4 different genera. We have genus Pongo, which are the orangutans, genus Gorilla, which are the gorillas, genus Pan, which is the chimpanzees and bonobos, and then genus Homo. Homo meaning the same, in this case the same as us, because everything within genus Homo is the same as us, because everything in genus Homo is a human. This is obviously where we Homo sapiens are located. What I have depicted here is a cladogram composed of clades. A clade includes all the individual different branches and their common ancestor. One thing you should note is that you cannot evolve out of a clade, since it includes all descendants. This means since we are within the clade of great apes, we humans are great apes. The problem we started to notice with Linnaeus' ranks is that 7 subdivisions just weren't enough to accurately describe life. So we added more ranks and we added prefixes like super. For example, one step above the great apes would be our taxonomical superfamily, Hominoidea, aka the apes. It includes the greater apes and the lesser apes, the gibbons. And so we decided to just kind of abandon the system. We still use it for tradition and to make it, real simple for people. But really, we have discovered so many subdivisions that many of them are left unnamed. But like I said, they're still used for tradition. So here we have the order of primates. Primates can be divided into 2 suborders, which are everybody else and the lemurs and a couple of other guys on this side. The second subdivision, you could say, is the division between tarsiers and monkeys. And if you remember what I told you about clades, you'll realize that we humans are within the monkey clade, which of course means we humans are monkeys because you cannot outgrow your ancestry. A lot of people aren't ready to accept this fact. Even if you look it up on Google, you'll still say that we aren't monkeys, even though, as you can see here, there's no other way to look at it. This branch here represents the New World monkeys, and this branch, the Old World monkeys, and this branch, the apes. And of course, the apes can be subdivided into the great apes and the lesser apes, and yeah, I already covered this part. Now that you have a fluent understanding of taxonomy, we can continue. Our closest living ancestor in Minecraft are rabbits. If the golden monkey would have won the Chinese mob vote, this would be our closest ancestor in Minecraft, and it will be located here. But it didn't, so it's still rabbits. To contextualize, we're going to zoom out to our taxonomical class, Mammalia. All the living mammals can be divided between the monotremes and the therian mammals. Monotremes are the mammals that still lay eggs, and they're only represented by 4 species of echidna and 1 species of platypus. They also have other primitive traits like a colder body temperature than most mammals, and they don't have nipples. They sweat milk instead. But it is important to remember that the vast majority of mammals that ever lived did lay eggs. But practically all mammals still alive give live birth. Since there are no monotremes in Minecraft, we don't need to include it here. All mammals in Minecraft are therian. Theria can be subdivided into Metatheria and Eutheria. Metatheria leads to marsupial mammals, stuff like kangaroos, but none of those exist in Minecraft, so all mammals in Minecraft are Eutherian, specifically placental. Placental mammals can be divided into Atlantogenata and Boreoeutheria. Atlantogenata is only represented by 1 member in Minecraft, and it's the armadillo. Other members of this clade in real life included the elephant, the manatee, and the sloth, and a bunch of other stuff, of course. But besides the armadillo, every single mammal in Minecraft is a Boreoeutherian. Boreoeutherians can then be subdivided into Euicontogliders and Larasiotherians. UI contogliders includes primates, rodents, rabbits, and some other stuff too. That's where our story ends. So we'll move on to Laurasiatheria, which includes all other Minecraft mammals. Laurasiatheria can be subdivided into Eulipatifla and Scrotophera. Eulipatifla includes stuff like shrews, but none of these guys are in Minecraft, so all of these mammals are Scrotopherans. Scrotophera can be divided into Chiroptera and Fera ungulata. Chiroptera are the bats. All other Minecraft mammals are within Fera ungulata, and it's called this because it subdivides into U ungulata and Fera. So you sort of just slap these two names together to create this parent category. Fera can then be divided into Carnivora and then this thing, which I'm not sure how you pronounce, but it includes 8 species of pangolins. This is one of those times where genomic comparisons contradicted the conclusion we came through by just judging morphology. Carnivora, just like primates, are a taxonomical order. And as you can tell, there's quite a few subdivisions we've gone through between class Mammalia and order Carnivora, so yeah, that's why we sort of have to expand the way we classify animals. We couldn't just use 7 ranks. It's called Carnivora, of course, because most of its members are carnivorous, but not all. Carnivora can be split into caniforms and feliforms. At feliforms, we of course have the cats. Ocelots and this common house cat, I guess, are both true felines. They're in the cat family. But feliforms also include stuff like hyenas. Moving over to caniforms, we of course have bears and dogs. This thing here is Canidae. Of course, it's the canines, dogs and foxes. While the Arctic fox is a separate species in real life, in Minecraft it uses the same spawn egg, so I'm not going to include it. Of course, here we have the bears, we have the panda and the polar bear. The red panda is also on the caniform side, but it's not a real bear. It will be a separate branch. And other caniforms are stuff like ferrets and seals. Moving on to the other branch of Fera ungulata, we have U ungulata. These are the hoofed animals, but not all hoofed animals, of course, because hooves are very easy to evolve, and they have evolved many times. U ungulata can be subdivided into perissodactyls and artiodactyls. Perissodactyls are the odd-toed ungulates because they carry themselves on an odd number of toes. In Minecraft, these are represented by, of course, the donkey and the horse. They only have 1 toe on each foot, but they used to have more. But when they did have more, it was always still an uneven amount of toes that they rested their weight on. Of course, the donkey and the horse can hybridize to create a mule. Perissodactyls are a taxonomical order and in real life also include stuff like the rhinoceros. Moving on to the artiodactyls, the first subdivision of artiodactyls are what will become Camelidae. Camelidae is a taxonomical family and it includes camels, llamas, and alpacas. Continuing along this side, this thing subdivides into pigs and then everything else. Continuing, we get a subdivision between the whipomorphs and the ruminants. Whipomorphs can be subdivided into hippos and cetaceans. The only cetacean in Minecraft is the dolphin. It's true that whales did evolve from hoofed animals, as you can see here. The only ruminants in Minecraft are within the taxonomical family Bovidae. Of course, sheep and goats are more closely related to each other than they are to cattle. Zooming out, that's all the mammals in Minecraft. Let's continue with reptiles. In real life, there's around 5,000 species of mammals and 20,000 species of reptiles, 10,000 of them being birds. Yes, birds are reptiles because they evolved from reptiles, and you can't evolve out of your ancestry. The word we use instead of reptile is usually diapsid. We mammals are synapsid. The difference is number of temporal fenestras. Diapsids can be subdivided into the Lapidosaur side and the Archosaur side. Lapidosaurs include stuff like lizards and the Turatawa. I didn't include snakes because snakes are lizards. The only living archosaurs are dinosaurs and crocodilians. Pterosaurs are also archosaurs, but they're all dead. One group of dinosaurs are the theropod dinosaurs. One subset of theropod dinosaurs are the Maniraptoran dinosaurs. And one subset of those are the birds. At least 4 species of birds survived the KT extinction event because we have 4 different distinct taxons of birds. Like I said, there are 10,000 species of birds, and they're the only tetrapod, which I'll get into what that word means, that lives on all 7 continents. So in a way, dinosaurs still rule the earth. We used to be quite confused about turtles. We didn't even know if they were true reptiles, but now we know that they are diapsids. And they're closer to the archosaur side, but they're not true archosaurs. They might be archosauramorphs, I'm not sure, don't quote me on that one, but they're certainly closer to birds and crocodiles than they are to the lizards. So this cladogram here still holds true. One way to group reptiles and mammals together is under the term amniote, because we develop in an amniotic egg. Their closest relative to us amniotes are the amphibians. And in Minecraft there's 2 amphibians, the frogs and the salamanders. Axolotls are a type of salamander. Amniotes and amphibians are both tetrapods, meaning they have 4 legs. Now, not all tetrapods have 4 legs because some of them have lost a couple of limbs, but since you can't outgrow your ancestry, they're still tetrapods. Moving on to fish, I'm gonna have to admit that I don't know a lot about fish classification, but I can understand that cod and salmon are more closely related to each other than they are to pufferfish. I didn't include tropical fish because that's not a real species. Guess I could have included it as a, the item form Sprite, which is a clownfish. Both fish and tetrapods are vertebrates, meaning they have vertebra. Next, we actually have sea pickles. Yep, sea pickles are more closely related to us than we are to like spiders or octopus. Unlike normal pickles, these aren't plants, these are animals. In fact, they're a colony of animals. Combining them with vertebrates, we get chordates. Moving up one step, we get bilateria. This means that the animals within this clade are bilaterally symmetrical. Bilateria can be subdivided into prorostomes and deuterostomes. Everything that we had just talked about was within the clade of deuterostomes. Prorostomes can be subdivided into the phylum of Mollusca and the phylum of Arthropoda. Mollusca is obviously the mollusks, like cephalopods. And on this side we of course have the arthropods. We can subdivide them into arachnids, the spiders and stuff, and to insects, which are bees and silverfish, at least in Minecraft. Of course, one thing you have to remember about all this is that I'm skipping over thousands of different clades of animals and stuff. Taking a step back, we see our taxonomical kingdom, Animalia, also known as Metazoa. The first subdivision of Metazoa is Eumetazoa and Parazoa. Within Parazoa, we have sea sponges. I'm pretty sure the sponge in Minecraft is actually supposed to represent a, artificially made sponge, but whatever. Even though Parazoa means besides animals, they are still within the clade of Animalia, so they are animals. They're the most basal animal, the most primitive animal. They have no organs or nervous system. Everything else here is a Eumetazoan, and the most primitive Eumetazoan are corals. And there we have it, that's all the animals in Minecraft. Now you know how closely or distantly related they all are to each other. Above Animalia, we have our taxonomical domain. Domain was added on after Linnaeus, he didn't come up with this one. Our taxonomical domain is Eukarya, which means we have a eukaryotic cell. Other eukaryotes are plants and fungi. Like I mentioned, there's an infinite amount of things that I have left out in this. This is obviously not a comprehensive list, that would be physically impossible, but I covered everything that's in Minecraft at least. Whenever there's a Minecraft snapshot, I usually do a snapshot video, so whenever they add a real world animal into Minecraft, I'm going to update this thing. I'm gonna have a little part of that video, a little section, which includes the new cladogram. Anyways, bye, get out of here, the video's over.